So in today's video, we are doing something that I can't really do on the Lamborghini. As you guys saw in the last video, I installed the new rear quarter panel, which was a huge deal. Obviously, I cut the original one off, and we now have this new one, and we are working on a kind of a cool design for the garage as well. But anyways, as you can tell, it's gonna need to be welded. So basically, right like that, this is gonna get all welded into place, into the door jamb. And that is something that is outside my skill set. So we're heading to a fabricating shop where they are going to weld this panel onto the Lamborghini. Man, so it'll be nice though getting this panel welded. Obviously I don't have welding experience, and I'm certainly not gonna practice welding on this car. So we're gonna have the professionals knock that out. I've already had everything lined up on the back to where it is perfectly lined up. All we gotta do is press it close and get it all tacked into place, and then everything else is gonna fit perfectly fine. I took the intake cover off, obviously, so we have a little bit better access. And then we just gotta watch the gas cap, obviously not melt anything. That's kind of my biggest concern with it. But once that's welded, then it's really just rebuild the rear end of the car, get it prepped for paint, and then we're done. So kind of crazy. This is kind of the hump of the hardest thing. You know, everything has been building up to this point right now, getting it welded. Once that's done, like I said, worst case, I could wrap it all just to make it look good if it's gonna take a while to get into paint. But at least once that's welded into place, the car itself is all put together. We just need some color on it. So we are really getting there. And then I'll dial in the car with some servicing and things like that. Oh man, I was gone for about a week at Daytona, so I haven't driven the car in a while. Oh, it's been a blast being back home driving this thing. So I've made it to my destination. We're here at R. Jones Fabricating, and Ryan is gonna knock out doing the welding. So you've been doing welding for a long time, right?
Yeah, man, we've been welding we're going on 15 years now.
Dang.
I've been out on my own. This shop, we've been in business for 8 years now.
Nice, and you've done like body work on like hot rods, a few exotic cars.
Yeah, I've got my own track car.
Nice.
My handle for Instagram is 66 Indit Stang. It's a Gulf Livery 66 Mustang track car. And we've done a bunch of high performance BMW, Mercedes exhaust, intakes. Yeah. We do a lot of trick stuff as far as that goes.
Very cool. What about this? What do you think the biggest challenge is, or what's your kind of thoughts on this type of project?
Well, I mean, when somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, will you weld on a Lamborghini?" I mean, that you know, that's a phone call, and it takes you got to be in the right mindset to just start welding, grinding on a Lamborghini.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
We're just gonna take it a step at a time, and you know, prep it and do everything slow and by the book.
Nice. That sounds good to me. But yeah, he's already ground down some of the paint and everything, and we're getting it welded, which is, again, like I said, big hurdle for this project. But sooner or later, we will have it looking like this side. All right, so after those tacks are in place, so look at that, nice and lined up. I think that top looks good. Gap looks nice in there. Should be nice and level. And then here, we'll probably just press it in just a tad and then tack that in right about there. But first few tacks going down. So he's about an hour into the welding. It's coming along really nicely. Done a lot of the tacks as you have seen, and then slowly getting the beads running and everything. So just grinding away, getting it smooth. But as you can tell, it's really coming together. Crazy to see, obviously, where this came and where we're at already. But it's definitely getting there. So taking a look now, pretty impressive how he's managed heat. This plastic and rubber literally didn't even get affected. Same with the plastic gas cap cover. So really neat to see all that. And then going into the door jamb and everything, this thing is now completely reinstalled after cutting it off. That is crazy to see that. No more crazy gaps, lining up nicely. So with the welding about done, so overall thoughts, obviously you've been doing this for a very long time. What do you think about this project? Because for me, intimidating to cut it off and get it ready for welding and paint. So kind of what are your thoughts?
So, I tell a lot of my customers, only about 20% of the welding is the job. The rest of it is metal prep, fit, and finish.
Right.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to applaud you for cutting off the old one. And the way you had this new one fit up, with thin aluminum, it's real difficult if you have big gaps to fill, and it's hard to manage heat that way.
Yeah.
But the way you had this thing prepped for me, and you nailed the gaps. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better prep job on it. So I'm going to applaud you on that, because you did a fantastic job.
I appreciate that. I mean, I've never really dove into this crazy amount of work, but I knew I had to get the old one off, and where it was, I could tell it was welded in place, and my goal was to cut the fender off, not the car. Yeah. So I slowly worked my way to the weld line and really carefully basically cut in the middle of the weld. And it shows. You did a fantastic job. Like, I just, a body shop, wouldn't have done that any better. Like, you did a great job with it. Jeez. That is impressive to know. But I appreciate your kind words, man. And shout out to you as well. Thank you. All his information down below. You do like even boats, like anything aluminum? Yep, so we build, if it's metal, we do it. I'm building a 1970 Ford ramp truck right now to haul my 66 Mustang track car. Sweet. We do a lot of high performance titanium Inconel exhaust systems. We've had a lot of high end Mercedes, Porsches. Yeah. We've had a McLaren in here. This is actually our first Lambo. All right, nice. But we do a lot of high end metal work here at the shop. So very nice. Well, I'll have all his info up. Check him out if you're in the Mooresville, North Carolina area. Yeah. Do you have people coming around like the country to you, more local? I've had stuff shipped here. We do a lot of local stuff. Okay. We do a lot of high-end turbo kits. There's a lot of BMWs and stuff, 1,500 horsepower BMWs and everything. Nice. We've done turbo kits on. We do a little bit of everything, man. Nice. So, well, definitely pretty diversified. Yeah, so check them out, guys, because obviously this is an intimidating project, and this has to be done right, because now the body shop, when I bring it to paint, can make it look perfect. So this was super critical. In my eyes, this was kind of like the peak of, once this is done, then it's hopefully smooth sailing at body shop and easy stuff from here on out. Absolutely. But yeah, check them out. I'll have all that linked below. And there we go. Moment of truth. Let's close this. Take a look at that gap once again. Oh my gosh, that is that is rewarding to see that. Like, just fitting nice and smooth. Obviously, little bumps and smoothing out will happen at body shop, of course. But look at that gap. Looking good. All the way down to there. Wow. We're one step closer, guys, to getting this amazing car back on the road, but that is impressive. So putting a few miles on the car, one thing awesome, I look over in my passenger side mirror, I can see the perfect straight body line from the door onto that rear fender. That is so nice to see. Obviously, for 2 months, all I saw was a big chunk sticking outwards on the ruined panel, and then after installing this new panel, I could see the gap and just kind of see it, a quarter-inch off or so. Don't know if you guys will see it from your camera angle, but you can see just that perfect sharp line. That is so cool. It's starting to look like a car, and like I said, worst case, if it takes a while to get into paint, I could totally wrap that panel white and it would look like 80% good. So really nice to see that. Wow, that's so cool. I need to stay looking at the road instead of looking at the panel, but we'll pull over in a second and take a look. Man, one step closer to continuing just to rack up miles on this thing. So let's now take a look. Finally made it back home now. It is always such an absolute blast to drive this car. Like seriously, regardless of the incident with it, this thing is so much fun. And it looks a million times better having a panel that's actually attached to it aside from just some bolts. But it's looking so much better. So obviously it's gonna be really nice once this is done with body shop. Everything's cooled down nicely and any dust and anything has been blown out. But look at that. That is so cool to see this car coming together. And now I don't have to worry about this piece hitting this. I had some vinyl on it just because given the gap, obviously this door kept hitting it. I didn't want to scratch up the door, given my door is in perfect condition. But you can take a look at all the welding and everything. Looks really good all the way down into there. So now the body shop basically can grind it smooth and everything and get it looking perfect. And then that will happen when they do paint. And as far as lining everything up, I mean, look at this gap here. It is the exact same gap all the way down, all the way to here. Literally the gap is perfect. And I'm really glad that he let me kind of take the lead on lining things up, given, you know, I'm the one who's gonna notice every little imperfection. So I was able to line it up and confirm that I feel like everything's lined up. And when I look at everything, I mean, it's perfect. The gap is perfect. It is nice and flush this way. This whole area is flush. Oh my gosh, we are one step closer. It's crazy. It's looking so much better. This is crazy. So let's take a quick listen to the exhaust. I've hardly really done any videos like revving the car, but this thing's got an X pipe on it. Oh man, every video I make with this car one step closer to getting it done makes me even more pumped and so in love with this car. It's so cool. Oh man, that sounds so good. And back home we got a special surprise car here, which will be pretty fun to take a look at. So one thing I've noticed with this car, as far as backing into the garage, kind of feel like an old Countach owner, but I end up sticking my head out the window. Makes it a heck of a lot easier to see what is going on around this car. And this is how you back up a Lamborghini. Man, it's so satisfying just seeing this car come together. It's crazy because obviously with the panel the way it was, where it was just bolted and kind of hanging off, it made it look kind of bad. Obviously it's kind of hanging off a little bit. Now the whole shape of the car ties in together. There's no interruptions now with these sharp body lines. Of course, going right here into the door. That's the line I can see when I'm driving through the side mirror. So to see everything just lined up really makes this car come together. Like the gap is so perfect. The fact that I found this fender, this is a $13,000 part, not even including shipping from Italy. Somehow a New Jersey Lamborghini dealer had it for like $3 grand, which is an absolute steal. The fact that it even existed. The only other these quarter panels that I found were still attached to frames of cars, completely gutted cars with just a roof and this panel. So I don't even know how I found this part, but getting it welded, look at that. We are ready for body shop. But that is gonna wrap up today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more Lamborghini rebuild content. We're getting there, and check out R. Jones Fabricating for sure. I'm so impressed. Anyway guys, I'll see you in the next video.